There is a place in the state of Georgia where no criminal ever wants to go. That place is called Alto State Prison, formerly Lee Arundel in Alto, Georgia. If you come here, you surely won't make it out.
Stay tuned for Tales from the Toe.
1090 Jake plays Bandit Basketball. Chapter 1, Introduction. Jake Miller, better known as 1090 Jake, had built a massive following on YouTube by sharing raw and unfiltered stories about rappers' lives on the streets and in prison. With his charismatic personality and candid approach, he had amassed millions of subscribers who hung on his every word. Despite his online success, Jake felt a void in his personal life, a longing for genuine connection that led him to join the dating app called Bumble. Chapter 2, Meeting Amy on Bumble. It was on Bumble that Jake met a fine-ass black chick named Amy, a vibrant and seemingly mature woman from Savannah, Georgia. Their conversations flowed effortlessly, filled with shared interests, jokes, and flirtations. Over the next 3 months, their bond grew stronger, and they decided it was time to meet in person. The anticipation was built as they made plans for Jake to drive up to Savannah from his home in Brandon, Florida, a suburb of Tampa. Chapter 3, The Date in Savannah. Jake's drive from Brandon to Savannah was filled with excitement and nerves. He arrived at the Applebee's on Abercorn Street where Amy was waiting for him. The 5'9" light-skinned queen was even more beautiful in person, and their chemistry was undeniable. They laughed and talked through dinner, feeling an instant connection. After dinner, they went back to Jake's Comfort Inn hotel room, where Jake pulled out a bottle of Jack Daniel's whiskey so they could get looser, and one thing led to another, and the fat YouTuber easily got the cheeks. Chapter 4, The Arrest. Later that night, a loud knock at the door jolted the lovebirds awake. Amy opened the door to find her furious mother, who revealed she had sewn an Apple AirTag into her daughter's purse to track her. The police were called, and when they arrived and discovered that Amy was only 16 years old, Jake was arrested for statutory rape. Shocked and dismayed, the fat man realized he had been deceived about Amy's age. She had told him numerous times that she was a junior in college, which would have made her 20 years old. Despite his protests, he was taken into custody and eventually sentenced to 2 years in Alto State Prison. Chapter 5, From a YouTube show to the Toe, Alto State Prison was a world away from the life Jake knew. As he walked through the gates, the reality of his situation hit hard. The guards were indifferent, and the inmates were hostile, recognizing him from his YouTube channel. The jeers and threats started almost immediately, setting the tone for his time in the Georgia prison system.
There may be rumors of me breaking up with Travis, but who cares about that? Right now, y'all need to smash the like button and subscribe button for my favorite YouTuber, GK David II. His stories are so crazy. We all know they're not real, but still the best shit on YouTube. They're like mini movies.
Chapter 6, Roommate and Struggles. Jake's roommate, a white boy named Firecracker, was a man with a reputation for being unhygienic. The cell reeked of body odor, and attempts to establish any form of cleanliness were met with hostility. Firecracker was a member of the 4 Block Bloods out of the Atlanta suburb of Snellville. Jake tried to set some basic ground rules, having been a Florida prison veteran who knew the rules of doing time, but Marcus was having none of it, leading to constant tension and conflict. Chapter 7, An Encounter. One day in the prison yard, Jake encountered a dark-skinned inmate named Switchboy, a towering 6'4" inmate known for his intimidating presence, weighing 226 pounds soaking wet. Switchboy made it clear he had taken a liking to Jake and wanted him to be his prison bitch. Jake's firm rejection angered wild-looking Giant, who called over his gang, the Bloods, surrounding Jake and leaving him with no way out. 3 of the gangsters pulled out sharp-ass candy bars, ready to stab the plump YouTuber until he opened his fat mouth. Chapter 8, The Basketball Challenge. Desperate to avoid becoming a prison bitch, Jake challenged Switchboy to a game of one-on-one basketball, which was silly because Jake was damn near 260 pounds of fatness at only 5'11" tall. He was built to play football, not basketball. The Bloods countered Jake's challenge with the addition of some zesty rules. He would have to play strip basketball. The condition was humiliating. For every 2 points scored by Switchboy, Jake would have to strip off an article of clothing and vice versa. Despite knowing the odds were against him, Jake agreed, hoping to buy time and find a way out of the situation. Chapter 9. Playing Basketballs. 1090. Jake hadn't hooped since he was a skinny 5th grader, which made it easier for his opponent, a much taller once high school star power forward, to dunk all on the fat man. Switchboy had scored 18 straight points, stripping Jake down to his crusty white state-issued boxers. All of Switchboy's 19 Blood Gang bros began surrounding the court more closer as Jake started screwing up his fat face. Switchboy clutched the basketball laughing and told Jake that if he made this last shot, those fat white cheeks were his. Then he used all 6'4" of his body to pull up and sink a mid-range jumper, causing the fat YouTuber to start whining about not being down with the rainbow shit. But his complaints fell on deaf ears as the 19 gangsters grabbed him and began pummeling him with kicks and punches to soften him up and prepare him to get violated by the winner. Switchboy grabbed the strips of bedsheets that one of his boys brought out with him and used them to tie the blubbery fuckboy up before dragging him behind an outdoor generator in the corner of the yard, which was a sort of blind spot. The Bloods pretended to play a game of basketball as they eavesdropped on the sounds of Jake wailing from the corner of the yard as Switchboy stripped down to match his nakedness before sliding up at him with a glob of spit he shot on his musky manpole. The disgusting violation only lasted a few minutes before Switchboy emerged from behind the outdoor generator, grinning as he buttoned up his state trousers and throwing on his t-shirt. Even though he wasn't gay, from that day forward, 1090, Jake became Switchboy's old lady or prison wife until he got transferred to a transitional center before going home. For all of you young boys out there that don't think this can happen to you, then keep doing the savage shit out there in the streets and see what happens to you.